Morning, fellas. Ben back again. An update on the Sherpa. Well, the bike just keeps making this rattling noise from the engine, and there's only so much you can do about it because it's a faulty valve train. The bloody inlet valves, they keep climbing up. What can you do? So the last valve check, the last valve clearance was point. I had only one valve climb up. That is my inlet left, and it came up to 0.15 millimeters of clearance, and all the other three valves were perfectly fine. Both the exhausts were between 0.25 and 0.30. The inlet left was 0.05 millimeters. That was absurd, and the inlet right was 0.15, sweet spot 0.15 millimeters. And so I just redid my inlet left. I put in a shim of, I believe, 0.90 millimeters or 1.9 millimeters. I don't remember. You guys will have to refer to the video. I'll attach a link of the previous video on this. But again, 3,000 kilometers have gone by. 3,000 kilometers of 3 or 4,000 kilometers of 3,000 kilometers, I believe, of nice, hard, high RPM runs. I was not soft on the engine. So yeah, and now again both the valves have climbed up. The inlet left and the inlet right are at 0.90 to 0.1, somewhere around that, because what I have in there is a 0.102 millimeter feeler gauge. And listen to this, fellas, comes out with a lot of effort, doesn't go in. I'll have to shove this in with force. Both the valves, good that both the valves are the same spec, so I'll have to shove it in like with a lot of force, and goes in smaller increments and comes out with a decent amount of friction resistance. So that is, I don't know if the camera will get this, but it's a 0.102 millimeters of the feeler gauge. That's the gap now. Good that both the valves are the same values, but of course the buckets, the shims will be different, because when they adjust it, they put in different shims for different lobes for the different valves. So any which ways, I'll have to go in with different shims now. Now the sad thing is, the exhaust is still fine. Fantastic. Lovely that the exhaust is fine. Now, it makes you wonder whether... so yeah, one more thing. You'll have to keep in mind that for you to understand what is TDC, you'll have to have this cam locking tool in place in both the cam slots. And you will also have to have... Oops, sorry. There you go. That's the crank locking tool. All three. So if you guys watch, I'm able to shove this in fully. That and the cam locking tool slotted in to the cams. When the cam shafts are facing, the cam lobes are facing outwards. Yeah. Only then you know that you are at TDC in this engine. So that's a must. That's a must that your cam locking tool and crank locking tool go in at the same time. If that doesn't happen, what you should do is remove both the tools, remove the crank locking tool, remove the cam locking tool, and get the sprockets to line in such a way that both can go in into their slots. Both the tools can go into their slots, and also the camshaft lobes are facing outwards, almost 170 degrees to each other. 170 Yeah, I'm guessing 170 degrees or 160, 65 degrees to each other. Well, that's going to give you your top dead center to get this job done. Be very careful, fellas. Don't mix up the timing. Now, that being said, yeah, so we'll have to get new shims now. I don't have these shims. I only have bigger sizes. I want smaller sizes. Royal Enfield goes to as less as 0.165, I guess, 0.165 millimeters of shim size. That's the smallest size that they recommend. Beyond that, there's no point in tweaking the head. You'll have to rather replace the head. So you'll have to go source the shims and then get this job done. Well, that was the update. Everything else looks spotless and fine. Now, another thing, why are these inlet valves climbing in most Royal Enfield Himalayans? I get about 10 messages every day saying my Himalayan 450 has developed a ticking noise. Now, I strongly believe that this is about the dust that is going into the combustion chamber through the inlet valves. I very strongly believe that could be the root cause for this, and that also grinding away on the valve seats. Maybe lean mixture and heat on the engine, but that should also reflect on the exhaust valves. If this is a lean burn engine, if this is burning too lean in air fuel mixture, that should first be seen in the exhaust valves, then the inlet valves. The inlet valves run cooler. But if the inlet valves are climbing up, then it's predominantly a case of the dust going into the engine. I don't know if I should be attributing this to the BMC air filter that I run. The BMC air filter has been like the K&N, the BMC, these guys have been a part of my motorcycling journey for almost 20 years now, 20 plus years. So don't really think that should be causing this. But any which ways, that is the best guess so far, that they're letting in a lot of gunk into the engine through the inlet valves, and the inlet valves are, the valve seats are getting ground up or grinded up. Or there is also word that there is a new head design by Royal Enfield now, which is being, the factory is replacing these faulty engine heads from the first batch of Himalayans with the new design. I don't know what new they could come up with, unless maybe the valve seats are of a different material, maybe the valve guides are a different material, but the valve guides are definitely going to be worn in this, because the valves climb up a little too fast. They're really, really sad. The ideal value should be 0.12 to 0.18, and I'm at 0.1 on both the valves. So of course this would do damage, and the last time when I checked it was 0.5 on the left. So that'll do its own share of damage. So don't really know if to the valve guides. So the valve guides are damaged, the valve seats are damaged. What I intend on doing is I intend on correcting the valve clearances for another 2 times, and then see if this settles down. If it settles down with a bunch of rattling noise, I don't have a problem. But if the bloody valves just keep climbing up, then I might as well get myself a new engine head. I can't claim warranty because I've been working on this motorcycle from day one. I haven't serviced it yet. The vehicle has done almost 12,000 kilometers and there's no service history. So they will not be proving, my warranty claims. So the best thing for me to do is just buy a brand new head and install it myself. Any which way, so that was the update with the engine head. Hope this helped you fellas make up your minds whether to go get this beautiful machine or not. It's a beautiful machine, a faulty head, the first batch. We are the guinea pigs. What else can you say? Well, that was that. Let me quickly just put things back together for the sake of it and go get myself shims and work on the clearances. Hopefully this will run another 5,000 kilometers without much to worry about. Ciao.